Other from is as Mamuni na Aquaba at the Ghanatube, Mamuni say Ghanatube, the Enyanto Honoma, fast she, near the Nina Brem, Celebea, Mosmubenia, Aquina, the Ashen, Yama, Air Cost, our Ghana, I see fast forward the boy and say, Ma, other from back I say, Charles BCU, Tamana on OSP, Omunyanta, one Tawaka cry our court, no more money. Second person na ye accuse no ye friend Andy or no order for court heading the supreme chase judgment abakra order for where ye chase a fresh crowd court no heading the judgment abak chase see an asem I deja Ghana as obi aka wasem mamunim say Anas Aremeya Anas on the Charles BCU sem na second accomplice bi kan one friend Andy or no see a court no the ruling kesi aba me so be ni nyina bro wo Ghanatube for man ko na yan ko di sansem nyina enchire mu emra sia.
Back, this is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, Andy Thomas Owusu, the second accused in the Republic versus Charles BCU case, has been convicted by the High Court after a plea deal with the prosecution. There's more details on this. Dennis Bobert with Esquire is in the studio with me, and he monitored this development in court quite closely. It's good to have you. Dennis, join us. What do we know about this?
Well, so Andy Thomas also happens to be the second accused person in this matter. It's a matter that he's been tried together with Charles BCU in respect of some galamsey issues that were caught on camera. This is a matter that the OSP has been pursuing for quite some time. He's been able to put them before the court, but the second accused person, who is the person of Andy Thomas, also says that he wants out, and in so doing, he reached an agreement with prosecution, that's the OSP, and now he's had that deal executed. He's a free man as we speak.
So for all say yes, this is Andy appear. See it said court jano crano. Okay, say tama Charles BCU in some by no or second accomplice be or no, and I see an ruling now by a no oh say ye almost share no who said no we are coaching a feeling can we be an in see I mean no court no no crack say and ruling about the see and ye jan so on court of 4 and the see and the Charles BCU nkwana just say galamsey issue no corruption area born no kwana the see and o face court no the see and the second accomplice the jan see out of 4 when the special ruling about me so me nyina brother for my call na yon ko this say we nyina nchirem Ghanatube see and emra.
He's been convicted on his own plea. We'll go into the details of what the agreement is with the OSP. Right. But you do recall that when we did a breakdown, out of the 15 counts of corruption and corruption-related offenses that were leveled against the two of them, 9 were specifically against Andy Thomas Owusu. So of those 9, we do know that in his case, 3 of the counts were on using public office for profit. The other 3 were also on counts of corruption of a public officer. The last 3 were counts in respect of accepting bribe to influence a public officer. So now when you look at the agreement that has been reached between Andy and then the states, this is how it turns out. That's upon the agreement, the states withdrew the charges of corruption of a public officer, and those, like I indicated earlier, were 3 counts. Now when you look at this charge and the penalty that is associated with this, it comes to the option of a fine and then a jail term. However, so the states also withdrew the charges of accepting bribe to influence a public officer. The third one was a recommendation that the second accused person receives the following as a punishment. Now, to make a compensation or restitution, it's part of the bargain of 200,000. He's also to pay a fine of 500 units, which is equivalent to penalty units, which is equivalent to 6,000 because a unit is 12 cedis. I see. There was also the agreement that the second accused person, who is Andy, makes a payment within 1 week after the adoption of the plea bargain agreement. Essentially, on the other side, this is what he pleaded guilty to. Now, the charges of using public office for profit. In so doing, he had to admit that he knowingly or voluntarily and truthfully admitting to the facts that the prosecution has presented, in which case he's not disputing anything. Okay. He also had to confirm that an understanding that of all the elements of the offense and the legal penalties involved. What's important is the offense to which he pleaded guilty to,
yes,
for which reason he has been fined in addition.
Important.
Of the 3 offenses, it's only one of them that allows one to be imprisoned or to be fined. And that is the one that he pleaded guilty to.
I see.
The other 2, it's only imprisonment.
Right.
So the reason he's not going to custody is because he did not plead guilty to any of the offenses that have only imprisonment as a penalty.
I see.
The only one that has
out of about in seminary course, yes, see. Okojina court no okase an ade we miyeye ade we manye de wanye no so no se da bi onyeye de otumi ye no so se an we de miyeye enti ne chese ruling no bae no e na chese mo ka se oh okay se botumi aka se oh we ye we wanye nko ade a okay sisi an ye define say na to so but chese ensem na ekokos wo pa chese ensem na ekokos wo court hono no o shout mu say omo hwehwe mu na hu say no eye second accomplice we no chese no hu eye clean no na omo man fine kakra omo man fine wie na chese omo ka say o say ye sisi ade ohu so ntuko nti sisi ade nipa ye twene se ne abasa pa Charles Bisu nti sisi akwa Charles Bisu versus Anas Aremeyaw Anas any OSP chese omo na omo twene twan e court see out of 4 to see the second accomplice near friend Andy no to see the friend Thomas Owusu Andy Thomas Owusu see no or no you say court no declare claim no song into see the or Kofi Akwakodwe no by the fine be actually so I say on to as I find out for when they answer my deja organa I say ya ubia kan wasem eye mamu ni Charles Bisu galam say some the bribery and corruption na ekoso no e na meso meje ni nyina bel e wo Ghanatube do for man ko na yansa ntu ansem so magisia.
The option of a fine and a penalty is this one, and that is what he has used to bargain, and it's allowed. And as long as the court has accepted the bargain between the prosecution and Andy and have adopted same, it's now left with him for him to make the payments as has been stated under the agreement, and that's supposed to be within 1 week.
Well, so the general sentiment about this, and I'm sure you've been monitoring the public sentiment of it, that this amount in the plea bargain or this agreement is too small. 200,000, a little over 200,000 CDs. That's 206,000, correct?
Yes.
The sentiment out there is that it should have been made to pay more than just 206,000. From the legal perspective, is there any merit to this concern?
Well, so that's why it's a bargain. And in most instances, even when the bargain is between prosecution and then the accused person, and the court does not agree with it, or is not satisfied with it, they reject it. So to the extent that that negotiation was done, it was put before the court, and the court, under the circumstances, looking at the facts, came to that conclusion that 200,000 was enough to pay for restitution. Those sentiments, as valid as they may be, that is what the court is also saying on this particular matter. But Alfred, just so we also know that he was also fined. Now that fine is as a result of the guilty plea that he made.
Right.
And when you look at the penalty there, there's the option 250 penalty units for that offense. That's the 250 penalty units. So ordinarily, it should have been 750 penalty units for the 3 counts.
Okay.
But giving him 500 counts, that means that there's a discount in between. That was not the only thing that happened.
For what? For pleading guilty to the crime?
So when you look at Section 71 of the OSP Act, there are a number of considerations they look at.
Oh, right.
So when you look at all those things, perhaps you come to an understanding why that has had to be the case.
We laymen would ask such questions.
Of course. And that's why I'm explaining that the law provides for that to work out. But Alfred, we're out of time. But there's also some news just coming in a while ago that in the matter of the SkyTrain trial, now the Attorney General has filed the witness statement for, one of the witnesses who is going to testify against Solomon Asamoah, and then also the
Professor Amia Akumfi.
Right. That person is Francis Abuaji. He's the lead investigator. He's a staff officer of the National Intelligence Bureau, and he's going to testify to matters including the investigation that he's done, including interviews that he's conducted, documents that he's reviewed, and also account verification that establish the facts that surround the whole transaction for which they are put before the court. We are also now understanding that even though Solomon Asamoah was granted bail, he was unable to meet the bail conditions. We are now told just this evening that he's been able to meet the bail conditions. So hopefully he should be out of custody in the coming days. That's just by way of updates as to what is happening in the court, Alfred. It's
very interesting indeed. And Dennis Babero Damasqua is keeping an eye on how things are playing out. Trust that here on Ghana Tonight, he will be updating you every step of the way. Thank you. Appreciate you, as always. Now, thank you so much for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight. Join the new date.
Order for all say when they answer my air coso, court army, so beginning in our bro. Ghanatube, yes, this is here, second accused person. Now, oka aye child, this unique case, no, this year, no court, no, this year, you cry, just say, your man, you're free. And your man, fine, be so on to you because. Oji to mu say nyama ne mebi wo hono mu oye no kre oye we the court ni say okay say wo ye we dia and yes saa dia to ya saa sika we but see na e kasa ne de see the court no omoyin because okoye plea agreement and I say plea bargain bi and a court ni so na ka say okay fine say what dia to say we say the end saa dia do boni a che to ya saa sika we odofo into the see na me no kasa no the second accused person na watch out this unique case in the see there nyamia dom ne ho ato na me so beje ni nyina brew e wo Ghanatube odofo aha e na me de mu nyina besi see there madam as